Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is part two of a series going over the Тест элементарного уровня. Let's get started. Номер 12. Как называется или как зовут твою подругу? Here, the concept is they want you to differentiate between two verbs being used to name something or call something a certain way. Называться is used for inanimate subjects, and the subject being named is going to be in the nominative case. Zovут kого, kого being in the accusative case, is used for animate beings. And so that's the distinction here. An example would be город называется Vladivostok. The city is called Vladivostok. Город here is in a nominative case. There is no ending change. And it's also inanimate because город is a city. Second example, one of the first phrases we ever learned, меня зовут, meaning my name is. That's how we would translate it into English. But really, if we directly translate it, it means me, they call. They being this abstract third person plural. And so we leave off the ani. Меня зовут Ivan. Меня here is, again, in the accusative case, and it's animate because you are a person. And so that's why when we're talking about names for ourselves or for our dog or for someone else, we use the verb zvat, zovut kavo. And so knowing this, let's go back to номер 13. Как называется или как зовут твою подругу? Твою подругу, we can see the nominative is actually твоя подруга. There's an ending change here, a to u and ya to you. Because there's that ending change, we know it's going to be the accusative case. And we also know that твоя подруга, meaning your female friend, is animate because that is a person. And so the answer to номер 12 is going to be B, зовут. Как зовут твою подругу? Номер 13. Почему этот музей называется или почему этот музей зовут Эрмитаж? Музей, meaning museum, is inanimate. And so we're going to be using называется. Почему этот музей называется Эрмитаж? And if we use зовут, почему этот музей зовут Эрмитаж, that doesn't work because зовут would have to be, you would have to use it with an animate being. The ending change does work because muzei would still be muzei in the accusative case. However, again, it's not animate. So we need to use называется. Номер 14. Как называется или как зовут ваша улица? Ваша улица is in the nominative case. The a is still there on both ваша and улица. And we should know that улица means street, which is inanimate. And so we would have to use the verb называться. So for номер 14, it's going to be как называется ваша улица. If it was зовут, you should never use the verb зовут with улица. But if you were to use it, you would have to have an accusative ending change. So ваша улица would be вашу улицу. Как зовут вашу улицу? But again, don't ever say that. Номер 15. Вашего брата называется или зовут Олег? Ваш брат is going to be the nominative case. Here we can see it's in the accusative animate. Ваш брат becomes вашего брата. And you might be thinking, wait, hold on. This ending here, вашего брата, it kind of looks like, or it does look like the genitive case for singular masculine. And you would be right, because for singular masculine, the genitive and the accusative animate look the exact same way, except for a few special cases. Вашего брата зовут Олег is going to be our answer because we have an accusative animate ending change. And as an extension, we know that we have to use zovut because it's animate. Ваш брат, meaning your brother. So for номер 15, we're going to be using zovut and not называется. If it were называется, if you were to use называется, вашего брата would have to be in a nominative case. It would have to be ваш брат. But again, do not ever use the verb называться with animate beings. I'm just telling you that to show how to differentiate between these two verbs using cases, using the endings. Номер 16. Это здание очень красивое, красивое или красивая. We should be able to recognize that здание with a ye ending is singular neuter, and we also have the demonstrative это with the o ending. So based on the o ending and the ye ending, we can tell it's singular neuter, and therefore we need an adjective to match it. And the adjective to match it would be be, красив oye. The oye ending is singular neuter. Okay, so that would be the answer. Красивый, a would be singular masculine. Красивая, ve would be singular feminine. Номер 17. Около института находится старый парк, озеро или площадь. Again, they want us to match adjectives to the grammatical gender, number, and case. And we need to recognize that старый, и краткое, that ending is singular masculine. And so we need a singular masculine noun to match it. And so let's look down our list. We'll start from the bottom here. Ve, площадь, мягкий знак at the end. That soft sign is going to be tricky. Most words with soft signs at the end are going to be feminine, but there are some exceptions where you have singular masculine nouns with a soft sign at the end. An example would be dождь, meaning rain. Another one would be, the months that end with мягкий знак, январь, февраль, yeah, and etc. And so this is just something that you're going to have to learn as you go through words that have soft sign endings. In this case, площадь does serve as a feminine noun. Okay, it is a feminine noun. And so старый is not going to match with площадь. Since it is singular feminine, старый would have to be старая площадь. Старая площадь. А, я ending. Б, озеро. Озеро has an O ending. An O ending is going to be a singular neuter noun. Therefore, starý, if it were to match with озеро, would have to be старое or ye ending. And so we know that the answer can't be be. A is park. Park ends with a hard consonant. Any noun that ends with a hard consonant is going to be singular masculine, as long as it's in the nominative form. Okay, so singular masculine, park, and it matches up with starý. И краткое is the appropriate ending. So the answer to номер 17 is going to be a, park. Номер 18. Познакомься, пожалуйста, это мой. So мой is a keyword here. Мой is singular masculine, and so we need a noun in the singular masculine form. So let's look at our options here. We have родители, which means parents. That is plural, and so since it's plural, мой would have to be мои or и, мои. And so we know the answer cannot be a, родители. We go down to where, mama. Mama is singular feminine, and we see it as an a ending, right? And so moi would have to be maya to match with mama. Maya, mama. So the answer can't be where. Look up bear, papa. Now this one's tricky because we have an a ending here. And so what this question wants you to understand is, it wants you to be able to recognize the irregular masculine ending a. Okay. And there are a few examples of that. You take a look down here. Mой дедушка, my grandpa. Mой дядя, my uncle. So even though these nouns have feminine endings, meaning they have an a ending and a ya ending, we're still going to treat them like masculine nouns. And what I mean by that is дедушка and дядя are going to decline like feminine nouns, okay? But the adjectives and the possessives and the demonstratives, all of those that attach to them are going to be masculine. So that's what we have, мой дедушка and мой дядя, and not моя дедушка. It's still a masculine noun, but it declines like a feminine noun. Okay? So we go back to номер 18. Это мой папа, because papa is still a masculine noun, even though it declines like a feminine noun. Okay? So if you were to say, I love my dad, you would have to use accusative animate, and you would say, я люблю моего папу. Моего папу. Okay. So papa ought to u because it declines like a feminine noun. But мой becomes моего because it is still a masculine noun. And so мой has to decline as if papa were a masculine noun, regardless of the ending a. Okay. It's a little tricky, but hopefully that helps clear it up. Номер 19. Мое пальто или мое костюм висит в шкафу, или моя рубашка висит в шкафу. So мое is singular neuter, and so we need a noun in the singular neuter form. Some examples down here are мое общежитие, my dorm, and мое окно. And you should be able to recognize that the endings here are ye and o. Those are the endings for singular neuter nouns. So going back to номер 19, we want to look for a noun that ends with a ye or with an o. So starting from the bottom, we have ve, rubашка. We have an a ending. That is singular feminine. Мое would have to be моя рубашка. So it's not ve. Костюм, m. That is a hard consonant. So that is singular masculine. Мое would have to be мой костюм. So it's not be. Мое пальто висит в шкафу. We have an O ending here. So this is singular neuter. And so the answer to номер 19 is going to be пальто. Мое пальто висит в шкафу. Номер 20. Наша семья живет в новом доме, или в новом доме. Dome is a singular masculine, and doме with a ye attached to the end, that's going to be the prepositional case. And we can tell dom is singular masculine because we have a hard consonant ending M, okay? So we see domya is in the prepositional case, and so we need an adjective in the singular masculine prepositional form to match it. So what does that form look like? Well, let's take a look at a couple examples down here. We have в большом городе, in a big city, в хорошем ресторане, in a good restaurant. So we have an om ending and a yem ending for большой and хороший respectively. And so that is going to be the type of endings they're going to look for in adjectives. Okay, so we look at номер 20. The only one that has an om or a yem ending is v, novum. В новом доме, in a new house. And that's going to be the appropriate prepositional form of новый. А новый и краткое, that form is either nominative or accusative, okay, for the singular masculine. Новой о и краткое, that is reserved for singular feminine nouns. Новой, that's going to be prepositional, dative, instrumental, genitive, all of those forms, okay? Those four forms, those four cases are going to be used for singular feminine nouns with the o y kratke ending, okay? And just as an aside down here, it says an unstressed o in grammatical endings is written as ye after Husser's je, sh, sh, ch, and ts. And this is referring to the example в хорошем ресторане. It's not an om ending because we have an unstressed o, meaning it's not в хорошем ресторане, it's в хорошем ресторане. So the stress is on the second o and not at the end. Because of that, there is no stress on the ending. And so the unstressed o would become a ye. Okay, so that's why we spell хорошем with a ye. And that's just a spelling rule. It helps to memorize that and going forward in order to write these case endings correctly. So again, the answer to номер 20 is novum with an om ending. Номер 21. В классе студенты читали интересную, интересной статью. We can see that there's a u ending for статья. So we need to recognize that the nominative case for this word is статья with a ya ending. And because it has a ya ending, it's singular feminine. And because the ya changed into an u, that is the singular feminine in the accusative case. Because the accusative case for singular feminine is a to u and ya to you. And so we need an adjective to match it. So a couple examples down here. Я люблю мою маму. Моя мама becomes мою маму. А to u, я to you. Accusative case because моя мама is the direct object. Next one. Я пошел на эту станцию метро. Эта станция is the nominative case. And эта станция becomes эту станцию. А to u, я to you. Again, accusative because we are talking about a direction. Куда, right? Куда. And so that's going to be the singular feminine change in the accusative case, a to u, ya to you. So looking back in номер 21, we're going to be looking for an A to U, Ya to U change. A, option A, интересная, that's just going to be the nominative case, right? А я, there's no ending change. В, интересной, интересной, that is the singular feminine for dative, prepositional, genitive, and instrumental. So that is not what we're looking for. We're looking for an A to U, Ya to U change. And B is the answer that we want. Интересная becomes интересную. В классе студенты читали интересную статью. So the answer to 21 is B, интересную статью. 22. Это здание очень высокие, высокий или высокая. Again, we're matching adjectives to the grammatical gender, number, and case. So zdania, as we saw previously, has a ye ending, and so it is singular neuter. So we're looking for a singular neuter ending, and the ending is going to be answer to 22 is going to be ve, высокое, oye. That is the ending for singular neuter. Number 23. В лесу, высокие, высокий или высокое. So this one's a little bit tricky. They want us to recognize the irregular plural деревья from дерево, so trees and tree. And there are a few words with this irregular ending change. Some examples down here are stool, meaning chair. Stool becomes stulya. List, meaning leaf. List becomes listya. Okay. And so because we have a plural, деревья, we're going to be looking for a plural ending for the adjective высокий. And the one that has the plural ending is a, высокие. Ie is going to be our plural ending to match it in the nominative form. Лесу, высокие деревья. 24. Мой брат высокие, высокий или высокая. Brat has the hard consonant ending, and so it's going to be singular masculine. And it's also nominative because it's just talking about my brother, and there's nothing triggering any other case here. Okay. Мой брат высокий и краткая. That's going to be the ending to match it. That is высокий in the singular masculine nominative form. И краткая.